Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for what we think will be a very exciting and fun presentation about gadgets and tools and how they help not only seniors, but other adults in everyday life. I'm Phoebe Stein, president of Olive Presents and co-founder of the Ageless Living Collaborative, and I'd like to welcome you to our panel today. We have with us David Ashen. He is my co-founder of Ageless Living Collaborative and president of Dash Design. Faith Marabella joins us from WDC Interiors, Lisa Sinney of Mosaic Design, and Kevin Swanson of Hawthorne Construction Group. So without much ado, we're going to jump into gadgets. And please do send us your questions throughout. We'll be watching the crawl and try to take questions as we receive them. We're going to start today with a very bizarre looking sphere. Faith, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite gadgets. So I have one here too, so people, I'll hold it in front of me so you can actually see it. So it's a half dome, and most people think this is just a paperweight, but it's actually a magnifying vehicle, I guess. And it's really great, so you can put it on anything, and us, architects and designers have size sets. It's wonderful. It's for reading. I keep mine in a little pouch, just so I can carry it with me. But it's just really handy because it's a 2-in-1 with the weight and the magnifying portion of it. And one of the other things that, speaking of magnifying, one of my favorite gadgets is, what everybody's got is your phone. Oops, I'll hold it in front of me again. So here's my phone. So one of the things that's really great that if you have trouble seeing and you need to magnify something is use your camera and zoom in. So like all those little pill bottles, and it's written at microscopic levels. You don't even have to be a senior to have trouble with that. Do that, zoom in, take a picture of it, and then you can read it at your leisure at a better, increased scale. So that's one of those things that I hadn't thought of it, but my husband, figured that out. And I thought, well, if I don't have my fancy dome, then, pretty much everybody's always got their phone with them. So that's another way, just a clever way to use your phone.
And I think
there you go. Lisa has it too. The dome is a great gift too, because not only is it good on your desk, but it's also good in the kitchen or in other places where you need to read the fine print.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Medicine bottles these days for me. So
yes, just the bathroom. Yeah. Okay,
again, this is a webinar that talks about gadgets for all of us. It's not just for seniors anymore.
As we all approach that age, though.
Okay, so these look like they might be great vehicles to sit and chat at the kitchen. Tell me why bar stools are a great gadget.
So one of the things, when you think of senior design, I have clients who love stools, clients that hate stools, clients I haven't converted yet. Those are the clients haven't converted it yet. But the bar stools are really great. The counter height stools are probably the #1 thing. And one of the things is I learned when I have a bad back, and I learned that when it goes out or it's tender, that getting up out of a chair is painful. And it puts me right in the mode of like, oh, I'm a senior. And this is what we're talking about when you have arms on the chair and the right proportions and all of those things. And I discovered that a counter height stool, you can literally, put your rump right on the ledge of a stool and you never have to get up out of the chair. You're already at the level of, your legs. It's just a sideways, it's a lateral motion to get in and out. So one of the things that we think of this being like, oh, we got to sit down in a chair. The bar height is also one thing for people that are taller. And again, it's one of those things like sometimes getting up into that, when you don't have a good back, but getting out of it, you're just, like gravity take hold and you just, kind of just like this has a simple swivel and you just put yourself down out and you're set to go. So I found them really very handy and we're using them more and more in our senior communities. They've been, because who doesn't like happy hour and who doesn't like to be around the bar? So
one of the questions I have, and I'm sure a lot of folks in the audience have, is what about not having arms on these. Is that a problem, or is that something that is still good for a senior because they can slide into it and slide out easily?
That's exactly it, Phoebe. It's actually advantageous not to have arms because they get in the way. So the arms in a chair are usually, they're great for, getting down into the seat and getting back out of the seat. Here, where, like I said, if you're just perching your rump, right on that level, you don't need the arms to be able to maneuver. So it's been, we've been doing them without arms and quite successfully.
Fabulous. Let's see what's next. Oh, that looks comfortable right now.
This is the one thing I noticed, and just observing, as I'm working in senior living and now observing, well, I was first observing my parents' age, and they stopped sitting in a sofa a while ago. And what you do notice is a preponderance of Barca loungers. And my mother is a little more style focused, got the stressless chair a while back. And it's the thing she sits in all the time. It's easy for her to get in and out. The ottoman, rather than something popping up and becoming a tripping hazard, she can move it in and out of the way. She actually has a table that clips on so she can use her computer or her phone or have a beverage. And it's a really nice alternative, as well as it's super comfy for your back. They are pricey, but I find them kind of a really nice alternative to the traditional club chair or recliner. So that was my little pick on seating.
And David, you can get those too. My parents just got recliners. They're not the fancy one like you have, but we're in Ohio, not New York City, but they have USB and chargers in, and they were so excited about that. And I was kind of jealous.
They don't have to leave their chair.
No, they don't have to bend. Well, they don't have to bend over to plug in.
Right.
And unplug. And that's a really big deal. It's at the arm height.
Yep.
That's smart.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'd like to mention is that we will have a listing of all the items we're sharing with you today on our website, agelesslivingcollaborative.org. You'll be able to go see the items, see the name of the items, and some different places where you might be able to obtain them if you so desire. Let's get back to backs.
Okay, well, this one is a little doohickey. That handle that gentleman is using fits into the notch into your door lock. So it's just a little device about this long. You carry it with you. When my grandmother lived with us, she was 92 at the beginning and 96 at the end. And it was a lot better for her. We would put it in there, and then she didn't have to get irritated with us trying to help her out of the car, because she was a very proud woman. And she could do it on her own and with dignity and on her own time. So it's a lot easier. I know at least I've got a sports car, and I kind of have to lay and roll out of it. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do that. So I notice I'm driving it a little bit less and less. But this kind of thing can get you from the front seat or the back seat. So it's really helpful and maintains dignity and independence.
Yeah, it's great because bucket seats are not made for those of us with sore backs. So
that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Next.
Oh, okay. So this one, I was so excited. I got Christmas. Was gifted this on Christmas, and this is your automatic car starter. And so we don't necessarily think of, this is great for us. It's great for, seniors too. You turn it on, everything, defrost comes full blast. So by the time you get out there, you're not really scraping the ice or, you put it on the windshield wipers, you're done, and off you go. So the less time that you have people moving around on ice, regardless of age, I think is a good thing. And then I was also told that if you live in a warm climate, it can also be set so you get your full blast AC going. So I haven't even tried mine in the summer, but that would be awesome.
Really good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Folks in the Southeast and the Southwest, they don't want to get in a hot car and melt for the first 10 minutes. So this is a really great device for pretty much anybody driving age until they have to turn in their keys.
It's also dangerous. So, as you get older, you lose your body fat about 70%. And that's why, that's why I've got jigglies. It's not, jigglies are because that body fat kind of holds things up and tight. And fat actually makes you look pretty decent. And so when you lose that body fat, you can't maintain your skin temperature. And so you can get too cold and actually freeze to death, and you can get too hot and burn yourself. So having something like this that Faith has really is helpful, especially in very hot or very cold climates.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the body temperature regulation. So important. So it's so important.
I'm
Now-
just
Now, this, I know for people watching, they're saying, wait a second, really, gadgets and tools, a toilet? This
Yeah.
is not only a fan favorite amongst our design group, but it is a fan favorite in all senior living. And I'm beginning to think in all households.
Mhm.
David, talk to us about it.
Well, this Faith had put this in. I don't want to take the thunder out.
Oh,
We
okay.
can both talk. We can
Go,
tag team
go
it.
ahead.
I put this
Faith.
one in, but I originally stole this from Lisa off her, off her website of, bestlivingtech.com. Which please go. It's a great resource. Lisa puts all these things on there. But it was great because I love the story she told. It was, go ahead, tell them, Lisa. I just love it.
So what had happened was, we had this multi-generational household where I had teenagers, I had my husband, I had my parents in their late 70s, and my grandmother with Alzheimer's that was in her 90s. And I thought, gosh, the worst thing that I can do is have to wipe somebody's rear end. Like, I love everybody, but like, I didn't even like it with my kids, let alone like an adult. And so I decided to get all these bidets, all different types, and in all the bathrooms, and try them out and see. We had had them previous when we were at another house, and people would like sneak into my master bedroom to try it out, which was kind of creepy. So when we were doing that, my dad was like, he's an old Italian guy. And so he was kind of like, what the heck is this? That kind of thing. And like, wasn't really happy about it. And then I didn't hear much. We went away to a wedding and went down to DC, and we were driving back, and he's like, I cannot wait to get home. And I said, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, he goes, at my age, having something in the bathroom and enjoying your toilet is about better than sex. And so it was all about the bidet, and he couldn't wait to get back to it, because that's kind of like what happens is once you use one, you almost feel like everything else is antiquated. I don't know if the rest of you feel that way.
Yeah, and I always say, us ladies, it's always nice that, our health, we've got indoor plumbing, as my husband likes to say. And so it's a really great way to keep things clean. And like I said, older you get, it's maintaining dignity in the household. Because as much as you didn't want to do it, I'm sure they didn't want to receive, any help, so it's a huge deal.
It is. No one wants to be in that position. And, part of it was my mother-in-law had fallen and broke both her arms. And so I heard calls from my sister-in-law saying, I had to go over and like bathe my mother, or I had to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, one, do I not want anybody doing that to me? Mm-hmm. But two, that's kind of, you can't unsee that. So, and so that was part of the reasoning, and it might sound really selfish, but it actually works towards a benefit for everyone.
You also mentioned, I think, Lisa, a while back about this, or maybe Rachel did as well, that one of the things that's most difficult, for caregivers in communities is, especially when you get into memory care or higher levels of care, is this, and you lose a lot of people. So the remote control allows caregivers to step outside and actually use it and help the resident.
It does, exactly. Like my husband's home, he's got a state-of-the-art memory care, and we put him in every single resident room. And I will tell you that the family members love it. They don't like the idea of someone, helping in that private way if they don't have to.
Right.
The person can use it and for a while, and then they can just help with the buttons. But it's great all the way around.
And I have to add one other note to this is, last year, as everybody remembers, last March, we went on lockdown and toilet paper was scarce.
Right.
And we actually were abroad. We came back. I don't know if we were going to have like a sheet left from our house sitter, dog sitter. But we had this. And so, now you're using less toilet paper, but that's sustainable too. Like when we start talking about well buildings and we're using less paper in our plumbing and that waste, there's a lot of benefits to it. This is why this is one of our favorites.
It does. And it also, so it saves trees. Okay. It, you use a lot less toilet paper. You still use a little bit, but you could blow dry yourself. But one of the other things is if you have a normal toilet, it actually gets you up a little bit higher to a better height. And we have some other things that can help with that. But to the point of the stools, it's a little bit easier to get on and off because it puts you at the proper height.
Toto,
We have a question.
Yep.
And the question is, do you have to have a plumber install this, or is this something you can do yourself?
I did the last 2 toilets. I did my mom and dad's and mine and one at the office.
Okay, but Lisa isn't necessarily your average person. She's like Josephine. So Faith, would you be able to install this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would say the hardest part is having power in the right location, because it does need to be plugged in. And that was probably, we got pretty creative with how we were able to work it, you know, in my home. But yeah, it's not difficult.
The other thing that Toto has, when I went to visit them in Japan, they took us over there 2 years ago. They have a portable toilet. So it actually has a flexible waist line. So it's great for people who are bedridden or have mobility issues, move them off the bed onto the toilet. And it really helps alleviate the need for bedpans. So Toto's doing really great stuff. The one thing they described to me, which made total sense, they're like, if you're outside working, which I was just in my garden, you don't take a dry paper towel and wipe your hands, right? So why would you do that with your bum? You know, so we all love this.
Let's move on.
Speaking of, this is Squatty Potty, or a version of it. And, you know, one of the things when I visited Frank Lloyd Wright Falling Water, one of the things that was interesting was his toilets are all low. And so, you know, he purposely did that because it's much more easy to evacuate when you're in a, what's the word I'm trying to use, when you're kind of
squat. When you're in a squat.
Squatty potty, squatting. It helps eliminate. That's why Turkish toilets are in some case healthier, puts you in that position that's more natural. So with toilets getting higher, this is a really simple device, and a number of different companies that make that allow you to just slide the stool underneath and raise your knees up. And as unfortunately we all know, or maybe it's just me, but it gets harder to sometimes feel fully cleaned.
So these are issues that one has to be mature enough to be able to discuss. So it becomes an adult and senior conversation. Certainly, we're not going to worry about the 20-something set and the squatty potty.
Well, but I have to say, the 20-something actually love this, and that's what the whole marketing campaign was around. You know, it's a unicorn that poops rainbow ice cream sherbet. So, you know, that is not a ad for an older person. It's also great for little kids.
Yeah.
So
because kids also have an issue, right?
Well, and 2, they can get up on the toilet by themselves. So it's a design product that is great for all ages.
It's super simple, and straining causes a lot of problems, and not to be gross about it, but it does. I mean, a lot of medical issues. So this is a great product. We can move on.
Yep.
So we're moving from the bathroom into the bedroom.
Okay. So this is a personal thing. I was like freezing my husband out of the bedroom. I'm a little bit older. I'm 53, and I couldn't control my personal temperature. So sometimes you can't do that, whether it's hormones or whether it's weight change or vitamins or less body fat. Controlling your personal temperature is very difficult, and sleep is so, so, so important. So, you know, I was opening up the windows and snow was coming in, and then he's like, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I had a buddy of mine that said, you've got to try the Ooler, which is the chili pad. And it comes in like a twin. I got the twin, so I only had it on the one side. And I turned it down to like 60 degrees. Then it wakes up at like 6 a.m. And I will tell you, I wake up now without an alarm clock, because when that comes off and then my natural body temperature, I wake up, because that's part of the reason why you get uncomfortable and wake up over and over through the night, is the body heat. So I think this is a fantastic gift, especially if you have anyone that's a female in your life, maybe over 45.
Is this just cooling, or is it heating as well, Lisa?
You can heat it. You can heat also. So
okay.
Is it
I
right?
think there's a lot of people who need the heat to begin with to relax, and then programmable like that. And then
yes, it is. So I just you can actually time it different times during the night. You can you can start it up, like I started up kind of like the remote car starter. I started up before I get in bed, so that it's nice and cool when I get in. And I still use a weighted blanket, but we're meant to sleep cooler than our normal temperature. And we've kind of, because our buildings are all now so closed in, we don't do that.
Yeah. Well, that's a great item.
Oh my gosh.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite item. I didn't bring this, but I'm glad you brought it, Kevin, because this is the one that I took from my mother's apartment when I had to clean that out. And it is, I think everybody who lives in an apartment, a home, needs one of these. Everybody.
Well, exactly. I use the story, a little different situation, but one of the last times I was visiting my grandma back in Minnesota, I think she was 95-ish, when she was telling me that she was cleaning out her upper cupboards in her kitchen on a little stool that my grandpa made her. And I thought she was crazy, first of all, at 95. But so it made me think of this. It's like, if she needed to get something out, she doesn't need to get on a little tippy stool that grandpa made her, but this could be easy enough to grab. She could use both hands to kind of hold it. She could use that trigger to grab whatever she might need out of the cabinet. Also for, on the ground too. I mean, you're not bending over, Faith, with back. If you're going through one of your periods where it's a little sore, you can pick up Penelope's toy and throw it easier than right. So I just thought this was really kind of nice, and I feel like it has sort of a bad stigma, and I really wish that would kind of go away, because I think this is a really, really great, as Phoebe says, a great tool just for anyone, for any reason, to grab, pick up, assist you in getting what you need, for sure.
I love how advanced that one is too. It looks nice.
It's a pretty good one.
So this was mine, because it's sort of silly, but anybody who eats grapefruit, there is no other multi-purpose thing that you can do. You have to use a grapefruit spoon to get those outer edges. It's a great gadget, but please, anybody from OXO or anybody else, please make one with a good handle for seniors, because I'm getting older and I want to be able to dig into my grapefruit still. So this is sort of it's a great item, but let's take it to the next step, because getting your vitamin C and your citric acid is good stuff. So
I just thought about this. There's a spork, because that's a fork and a spoon. This is a knife and a spoon. So what are we going to name this?
Oh God.
A spife.
A spife.
Yeah, spife.
A spife. I like that. A spife.
Yeah.
So can you hand me the spife, please?
Spife, the serrated spife.
Yeah.
Along with the Grey Poupon.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is mine, and I actually, used it today. I have something that goes up here. I got to the point where I'm not as flexible as I was, for whatever reason. You kind of lose your arm strength, and zipping up dresses when I'm traveling, or getting zippers up with boots, was real difficult. So you attach it before you put the outfit on, and then you're able to just pull it up and not kind of be a contortionist, basically, or hurt your arm or your rotator cuff or those types of things. And so it allows me to be more independent. These are kind of like the little gadgets you find on Amazon that really change your life.
I think everybody should have a zipper pull in their suitcase, so they don't have to wind up at the front desk asking somebody to finish the zipper.
That's right. It is a little awkward, because sometimes people think you're hitting on them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's weird.
Especially the young desk clerk, and you're like, can you zip me up? Or I have to say, I come in after an evening and I have to say, hey, can you unzip me before I go up? That kind of thing. But now I don't have to do that.
I feel much better about that now.
Yeah.
Does this actually work in reverse though? Can you unzip it with it, or is it
Yeah.
more difficult?
Yeah, no, you can unzip it. So I just clip it up to the top of my zipper.
And you just pull
and
down.
I let it
Pull
down,
down.
and then I grab it and just pull it down. Yep.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, this was another one of my little gadgets, and I love using ours that we have here. And I think it can be used in many different ways, but what a great tool for independence again, for anyone who may have some sort of issues with really cupping the top of a jar. They can just use a flat hand and use this. I mean, again, it's just, who hates to ask, can you open this up? And then they get it like in a second. Oh, I loosened it for you, as the joke, so you don't feel so stupid that you can't open it up. But I thought this was a really great, handy tool for anyone from a child to a senior adult to use to get what they need. Their peanut butter, their Nutella, their whatever they might need to get out of there.
I love
Those are
it.
great.
And yeah, and the thing about it is you can even pick up bowls with it.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Yeah, yeah.
So when I'm like, if I'm microwaving something, the bowl
Mhm.
gets too hot and I don't know it until too late. So I'll use it to pick up a bowl or
Perfect.
a cup or something like that.
And it won't slide out, because I'm assuming
No.
like something like this looks like it's like a silicone, so it's going to be
Right.
stickier. And
Right.
yeah, that's awesome.
Well, and it's also small. Like if you're getting into a microwave, it's like pot holders and stuff like that. They're big.
Too
and
big.
they're
This is the
bulky.
size of your hand. Yep.
Yeah,
These
it's
are
very
perfect.
handy for a lot of
All right,
things.
so this is mine, and like Kevin's grandmother, I'm 4'11", and so I've noticed that I have done a pole vault, almost like a gymnast, my entire life. Like I can hop on top of a countertop, and then I kind of shimmy on the edge to get like special dishes. And it's weird because the stuff up above is stuff that I don't get into a lot, and sometimes it's very delicate or crystal and heavy, those types of things. And then dawns on me that it's kind of dangerous, like at my age, like I shouldn't be doing that.
You'll be on your grandfather's stool he built you, which would tip
Yes.
over.
Yes, exactly. And so this is from Revashelf, and it's really brilliant. They have a lot of great products. This is just one of it, but it's not electronic. Pressalit has one that's electronic, but this you just kind of push and it brings down the items in your upper cabinet down to you so that you don't have to hurt yourself trying to get into them. They also have a fantastic lower for a KitchenAid mixer.
Oh, to bring
so
up.
break your back trying to lift it up. It's got a pneumatic to it. They've got a bunch of little tiny things that are just brilliant for the kitchen to allow you to be more independent and just keep on cooking.
So Lisa, how much of a retrofit and who has to do this, and how much of a process is it to install one of these? If say you're in your home, didn't outfit it like this.
Sure. So what I kind of use a rule of thumb is if you can install IKEA stuff, you can do it yourself. If not, TaskRabbit or a grandson or granddaughter are completely appropriate.
Okay.
So, but TaskRabbit is, IKEA actually bought them because so many older adults were buying product and didn't want to put it together.
Uh-huh.
So you can schedule them and they can install things, and they'll do other things as well.
Great.
The RevShell products tend to be pretty easy to install, though. I have a number of them, and they really add ease. So this is probably connected to 4 points in the cabinet, and you just take the removable shelves out.
Wow.
And we'll put both of those up on the website, both products.
All products that are being shown today will be up on the website. So
But we
everybody
mentioned a couple of versions of this one, or a couple of different companies. So I just thought it'd be nice that, people
Oh, okay. Well, we can.
Yeah, I have a question for Lisa on that last piece though. So can this be used in a cupboard above a countertop, or is it just for like a full? Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
I use it above countertops. They also have some stuff for closets. They have a rail that you basically take, almost like a wand that you would use on a drapery, and it pulls it down. Panasonic has some stuff, but it's hard to get in the US. They have it all over Japan. Like David said, there's multiple people that have this. I think the thing is that we've done a much better job at designing our cars to fit to our humanity. But we have not done a great job at our interiors, designing them to fit to our humanity. We have to fit to our interiors. And that's very backwards to me when you spend so much time in your home, a lot more than you do in your car.
Right.
Except for those bucket seats in the car.
Well, yeah, I tell you what, Faith, though, that's why I got the Audi A7 was because the back seat was flat, and it was one of the only few back seats that was a bench instead of a bucket. And I just think it's a lot easier as I age, and I wanted to keep the car for a long time to be able to get in and out of. I saw my grandma and my mom and dad really struggle.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah.
All right, so the Sonicare, love my Sonicare, and I love that this one's black. I hadn't seen the black one before. I think it's great. But I think, you know, one of the keys I think to just overall health is oral hygiene. And so what I like about this is that when it comes to maybe someone who has a mobility issue or just aged, I guess, is you don't have to rigorously do this with your toothbrush. You just sort of move it around your mouth, and it's easy to use. I think it's easy to grip, and it's timed so they know exactly how long they need to be doing it for. I just think for any age, this is such a great tool. Sometimes you overbrush with a regular toothbrush, and now your gums are all getting worn out and whatnot. And this is just a great thing. So I included this on my gadgets list.
It's also great for dentures.
Oh yeah, you can hold it. Yeah, perfect.
And retainers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I swear by this thing, man. It helps. My cleanings go so much faster now at the dentist because of
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely, you're right. Absolutely.
And you get into those smaller spots a lot easier. I have a tiny little mouth with too many teeth, and so it is one of those things that my dentist is always telling me. So I love that they've got the small tiny heads that you just.
Yep.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it is
and it's very intuitive. I mean, it's an on-off button. Period. End of story. There's
Done.
no
Mhm.
like 15 settings that I got to figure things out. You just turn it on and turn it off.
And you
And
get a
get the-
charger stand, so you don't have to worry about batteries.
Right,
and
exactly.
the charge lasts. I've traveled for 2 weeks without the charger, and it lasts.
Mine
Exactly.
lasts longer. I don't know if it's the old ones or not, but I mean, I charge mine probably once a month.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Yep.
This was another one of mine. I think this is a little more general, but light is a great tool and a gadget. Who would ever thought light could be a gadget, but it is. For me, I'm finding Lisa and we're just a few weeks apart in our age. She just had a birthday. I had a birthday a few weeks ago, same age. And anyway, I find that if I don't have ample light, even during the day, I have a hard time reading the pages of my emails, of a book or whatever. And even just the addition of a little bit of light helps me greatly. Then I don't need my cheater glasses that I hate that I have to put on. And so what's great about this lamp is that I think it's nice and simple. It fits into small spaces. So if we're thinking of maybe an assisted living apartment, they're not very large, some, and it can fit in a very small space. It looks like it can be easily telescoped up or down. It can swivel around. It's got a nice little gadget to hold on to move the light. And this is just going to give everyone that freedom to do exactly what they love: reading, knitting. I hate to make that sound so
It's
Jerry,
cool now. No, it's cool.
knitting's cool, yeah.
cool
You know,
now,
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, for anything that they're
Outlander.
doing. I think my mom's on crocheting. She loves to crochet. You know, where the task that just gives you joy and independence again, or just, I guess, just more joy. The invention of light is one of the best gadgets.
So
Oh,
Kevin, I on that light, that's an auto light, and that actually helps with your circadian cycle.
Oh, really? Cool.
Well, yeah, to sleep a lot better. So it's really great for everything that you're saying. If you can spend an hour or two with whatever your happy task is, whether it's reading a book, a novel, or the newspaper, or knitting, or crocheting, or for me, it's puzzles and Faith. We love puzzles.
Exactly.
You know, something like that, but you're getting that sunshine in a lamp. That's really a positive thing.
Very good.
Yeah.
On to light. When you don't have electricity in a certain area, sometimes in a closet that doesn't have power, I just moved from an apartment. These are great little, they come in different forms. This is one by Energizer. It flips around. It's a little LED battery operated light. You can put up a double stick tape or a screw. I just double stick tape them in different places. But you can put them next to, you know, a bed if you need a little extra light, next to, you know, in a kitchen cabinet, and just touch it and it goes on. Anywhere you need a little extra illumination, these are really simple. They last pretty long, actually, and you can replace the batteries. I assume there probably are some rechargeable ones as well. But oftentimes in older buildings, there are not lights conveniently located.
I'll tell
And
you
we
what.
want to make sure that we have more light for seniors. as
Yeah.
well as everybody else, but especially for seniors, because the last thing we want them to do is to be feeling around for something and not knowing where they're going.
Well, or showing up where you got the wrong colors matching. Everybody, at least,
Right,
there's
right.
so many ranges of black, and you can really screw that up, especially.
Looking like a true designer.
Yeah. Well, I've had it happen before.
Or navy and black, it's the navy black
Exactly.
dilemma. Yeah.
Okay, this is one of my favorite items. And the first time I saw Lisa with this, I needed to know what it was immediately. And tell why it's so special.
So this is called the Human Charger, and this is sunshine in a box, basically. They have two different kinds. This is the newest version. So the newest version replaces your need to have earbuds and a charger. So you can actually have your sound and be connected through your phone and use it like that, and then press a little button and get a little sunshine. What it does is it resets your circadian rhythm. It's fantastic for anybody that lives in kind of the winter month areas. There's sad areas. At least Ohio has, like, everybody's vitamin D deficient and depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And normally we get our Florida and that kind of stuff, but we haven't been able to go many places. I use it a lot for travel. So do athletes. It also is, instead of having a Red Bull or a cup of coffee, it's a little pick-me-up. It's amazing what light does to your brain to kind of re-energize you.
I have the old version, and just to let people know, if you wake up in the morning and you put it on, and that's when you use it. Don't do it before you go to bed.
No, don't do it before you go to bed. And
Mm-hmm.
and my grandmother, we had her in the hospital like 3 times. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. We had melatonin, all this kind of stuff given into her. And I found this product and I gave it to her, and then she slept through the night. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. Because, we were ready to kill her. She was keeping us all up all at night. And she was out of her head. When you have sleep deprivation.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
If anybody's ever taken the wrong pill, like they're allergic to Sudafed or something like that, it's a miserable thing being up all night long.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah.
This is pretty cool. This is really pretty cool.
So this is not a torture device, although it might look like that. It reminds me of like little kind of golf cleats. And I travel with this and I give it away as gifts. What it is it's a mat. There's a couple things why you don't sleep well. One is looking at your devices before you go to bed. 2 is not having light peel through. 3rd is your temperature changing. So the Ooler or the chili pad. Then you also have, breathing things in that. But a lot of it is when you toss and turn is because your body loses its ability and its circulation. And so you're turning to get that circulation back. So you lay on this for about 10 minutes, it pricks your whole back and your butt and gets all the body just humming with the blood flow before you go to sleep. And then you just take it out from underneath and you're able to have a good night's sleep. I also travel with it on a plane because the plane seats, no matter what class you're in, are not comfortable. They cut off your blood supply and that they cause horrible backaches. And so having this that you can set behind you and constantly be getting the blood flow that you need reduces the pain and inflammation quite a bit.
It's a neat item. Okay, so this is not something that is in everybody's gadget list, but there's a reason it's in Kevin's gadget list. Kevin?
Well, so I have not this particular model, but I do have a little grand piano just to my right side here in our living room. And I find music in general, but to piano, very soothing to me. If I'm in a moment where I just need to kind of get away from my desk, I've had some bad news at work about delivery of something, or just
lack thereof.
Or lack thereof. I kind of go and just play a song or two on the piano, and it really can calm me down. So I wanted to use this as a gadget, maybe to represent just typically music. I think music can, in any form, can calm someone down, can be a gadget that will just bring peace to them, bring them joy, and bring them happiness, or even just bring back a really nice memory, which could then calm someone down still. So I wanted to include this because it's important to me that I have this gadget. Like I said, it doesn't need to be a grand piano. It could just be your stereo or radio, something that you can play music on,
Yeah.
your favorite instrument or whatever. But I think this is an important thing, not to lose this kind of gadget in your life to bring you joy or to bring you some peace. Yeah, for sure.
And I was thinking about this, Kevin. One of the things I thought, with the piano, you're right. Not everybody's going to be having a grand piano in their apartment, but you can get a Casio keyboard with a stand, and
Yep.
I have one, and you can put it vertically, and it takes up very little room, and
Yep.
and then you put it on your lap, so it's great for anybody who has ever had music in their life, where they produced music, where they made music, and
Or just
you're right,
enjoy music.
Yeah,
just
right.
enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Yeah, and I'm getting one, and I don't play the piano. So
Exactly.
and it's not because I want to act like I play the piano. I mean, my kids kind of screw around with it, but they're not, home. It's that I love that sound, and it is totally different having a player piano than having my Sonos on.
Right.
Right.
There's something acoustically vibrational that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it just fills the room.
Yeah. I think that's right on with like your circadian rhythm stuff. It's that reverberation in the body that just brings joy. It's, whether we can really put our finger on it, exactly what that is, that frequency is. But yeah.
This next item is not a torture item.
No. So this is mine. My husband probably should recommend this for me, but I actually brought it to the table for our family. So, my dentist, I'm a mouth breather and I have asthma. And apparently that's really bad to be a mouth breather. Like, who knew? But what the dentist said, he had me read a book, and then it's some famous author. It's a New York Times bestseller right now. I think it's called Breathe. And basically you get 20% more oxygen by breathing through your nose, which is like crazy to me. And then it also helps you sleep better. Your teeth actually won't get as much cavities and decay if you keep your mouth shut. You don't snore as much, and you get a better night's sleep. So I tape my mouth. I just use a regular like little tape things, but you can buy these that are specifically designed for this, and there's like 50 different manufacturers. But I found that my sleep is so much better. I don't wake up with a dry mouth. I'm not irritated, and your body learns very quickly to change how you're breathing. So it's been a real positive for me.
I think it's great. I can't wait to try this one, Lisa. I think that's a great idea. And that might be another one that goes into my travel suitcase too.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing with my travel. I've just been kind of my little sleep hacks. I'll tell you, to improve my sleep has made some of the biggest differences in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, how do you think this will work with a beard?
Yes. So my dad tried it, and he actually was able to do it. Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, he was able to do it. You do it on like here and then down, or the crisscross sometimes, but people do it a little bit differently with a beard. You just got to play with it.
Yep.
What I found is kind of like I like I don't know, I like the feeling, which is weird, but I don't like it touching my lips. Like I like it here and here. Some people like it actually touching their lips. So
interesting.
It eliminates snoring, I would assume, right? Or...
It does. So the guy that wrote the book said that a lot of the people that snore don't have sleep apnea, and everybody says that they have sleep apnea, which in reality they're just mouth breathing, and then at a certain point you kind of like it can't back too far, and then you're, that kind of thing.
Wow.
But when you keep the mouth taped shut, it doesn't allow that, and it actually changes the whole way and structure of your face for the positive when you sleep with your mouth closed.
And this is going to save a lot of marriages.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. You just don't want to hand it to somebody right after an argument.
Yeah.
No.
Humans over. Wear this.
Yeah.
It helps too if you ate too much garlic that night. So.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a little device that we use all the time, and it is called the Loop. There's tons of different other ones that are out there. I think Facebook has one, Amazon, and those kind of folks. But basically, I can video chat with my mom. It's our own private channel. Nobody else can see it. So at one point, we had a little issue where my mom would like post pictures of us on Facebook and didn't realize the world could see it. and sometimes you don't want everything. I actually did that. I posted like a picture of my little nephew when he was young and in the bathtub, and he got upset with that. So this allows a private channel, and you can do it right from your phone. And then they get the choice to answer it or to accept it, and then it loops through. So my daughter, who's in Israel, she can send pictures of her digs to my mom, and my mom knows she's thinking about her without ever having to schedule a call. So it's kind of a cool device. This one's called Loop.
Oops. And similar to that is the Echo, which I also chose. But what I like about this, similar to that, is the drop-in feature. So there are times when we don't know where my mother is, and my sister's like, "She alive? She alive? She alive?" And this is a place, if I can hear her or the TV going, I can actually, without scaring her. I mean, it's a little invasive, but sometimes, you know, it's if you have the app, you can, not anyone can drop in. So it's a very useful tool for monitoring as well as just having a conversation. So I like that. And if something happens, the good thing, and this may work the same way, it's like you can say, Alexa, call David, and it'll call me. She can be laying, you know, unfortunately, if she slipped or something happened, she could be anywhere in the room and it'll call me. So it's a very useful tool. Listens to everything too, probably, but so is your cell phone.
Yeah.
What is your
That's
cell
cell
phone?
That's a whole thing. We've talked about that before, is everybody thinks, oh my God, this privacy issue, but your cell
Everything.
phone can hear everything even when it's completely turned off. So the privacy is gone. That's why you get the ads for things where you're having a random conversation, then you get an ad.
Right.
And it does get scary sometimes. You can't track something. They're not answering the phone for some reason, and you know, everyone lives far away, so it's useful, as is Ring, for a number of reasons, both the doorbell feature, but also the cameras in the house, because you can tap in, but also they hold some, they record things, so you can also tap in if you're, you know, my mom's in her bedroom or living room, she can see who's at the door, and we can also log in and see who's there. So it's a super useful tool. I have them in my house. I don't put them in private spaces, just in case anyone is going to stay in my house, so they know that in advance. It's not in the bedroom, not in the bathroom.
And I think this is also great too, when if you have, you know, you live in a 55 and above, or even sort of, there's even, you know, just communities that kind of become, you know, senior. But there's a neighborhood sharing part of this too. Like if somebody says, oh, you know, hey, there's a stray dog, is it yours? And they'll post it, and you can know, you know, or we'll sometimes go, you know, hey, there's a coyote over, you know, and just beware, bring your dogs in, or whatever it is, or if there's anything suspicious going on. So it's nice that you just, you know, you kind of have greater eyes in the neighborhood too, to be able to, you know, to be a part of, you know, that great big outdoor world outside the door. So
you can also document, you know, you can say, hey, I'm calling the police if there's somebody out there. I've seen people be able to catch people that were stealing Amazon packages.
Yes.
So I think it gives a greater confidence for the person inside the house.
Great.
To be able to have intel. They can be on the phone with 911 and saying, look, somebody's out there that shouldn't be out there. You know, and you don't have to open the door. You don't have to peek through the window. You don't have to be exposed to do it. You can also talk through it and say, look, I'm calling the police right now, and they can hear you.
That's amazing. Okay, this is a fun thing, and it doesn't look like a tool or a gadget, but it has value. And when I met Lisa, she produced these capsules for everybody around the table because we knew we were going to be out that evening. And now she's going to tell you why.
So yeah, so the guy that owns Bulletproof Coffee, which you may have had, it's like the coconut oil, the high octane butter coffee, and he does a bunch of biohacks. We were out at a dinner, and he started passing these around, and you know, I'm like, what is this? I don't, you know, like, is this some sort of drug or something that I shouldn't be taking? And he's like, no, it's charcoal. And so I took them, and I was amazed at how I felt the next day. Like I felt like I had not had any alcohol. I had alcohol. We had quite a few bottles at the table. And what it does is it detoxes you. It's also good for gas. But you know, our bodies, we put poisons into our bodies sometimes, whether that's caffeine or that's food we shouldn't be eating. That's the reason why you have gas, or alcohol. And if you know anything about like alcohol poisoning, whatever, when someone goes to the hospital, first thing they do is make them drink this charcoal kind of milkshake
Right.
kind of
Right.
thing. And it basically soaks up all the toxins and is inert, and then it goes right out. So it allows you to kind of have a decent dinner, a nice dinner without the negative effects. It also is really good for cheap wine, just as an FYI.
So this was not really a senior item. It might have been something you would give to your kid when he went into college, and then up until whenever.
Now, I think it is a senior item because I never had a hangover until I was a little bit older.
Okay.
And
That's
so
That's true.
now,
You don't bounce back. Yeah.
yeah, now the alcohol or that affects me a little bit more. So I need to detox a little bit more.
That's true. That's true. You gotta, as you're having a good time, you're like, tomorrow I'm not getting anything done. You know, so this is good. We can still enjoy every day of life we have. So
I hope everybody has enjoyed all of these amazing gadgets that our collaborators have brought to the forefront for you. Again, you can always see them again on our website, agelesslivingcollaborative.org. Next month, we will be coming to you with a webinar specifically on design. We are going to talk about color, texture, and pattern. We'll be talking to some of the industry leaders in that, plus our amazing leaders in the ALC. So save the date. It will be Thursday, May 20th, 4 p.m. Eastern. That's our time slot. We hope that you'll join us then. And I'd like to thank everybody for participating today. David, Kevin, Lisa, and Faith, thank you for bringing all these great things to our viewers. And we hope to see you at the next webinar. If you have any questions, you can always reach us through the website. And don't forget that we do have a relationship with NEWH, and we are building a scholarship fund for a eligible design student who wishes to go into senior living. So thanks for spending this afternoon with us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.